If there's ever a story of the hometown girl does good, our next guest could win the prize. Let's welcome Ashlee Stratton to the table.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
I feel so special that I got invited to the birthday celebration. So this is
eat
great.
your cake
and ditto.
Enjoy.
I mean, we're the super lucky ones.
Have your cake and eat it too.
Yes, I'm trying.
You've been here a couple times.
Yeah, I have. So it feels like I'm at home.
Yeah,
when
you're
I
not
come
nervous
here.
now?
No.
And why wouldn't you be
Not it.
nervous? I mean, you're like out talking on stages and a motivational speaker now.
Yeah, I try to not, being in front of people has always been my home. Like, I love being on stage. That's where I have my connection with Natasha. It's like, it was back in the pageant days.
2008.
You were Miss Spanish for 2008.
Yep, 2008. So it's been a long time. But I feel like that's where I got my roots in speaking, and that's where I really found out, wow, I really have a passion for this. And I got feedback after the speeches just in the pageant world, and I thought maybe there's something here where I could really help people like change their lives or help them at least make some decisions that could put them on a different course, you know? So that's where it all began for me. It was really in the pageant world.
I love that so much.
And then you get married and have kids, and then are you able to just do everything you want to do?
No.
You kind of have to take a little break?
Yes, so I got married and had kids. I had a few speaking gigs like before I had kids, like in college, like at leadership summits and things. And then I really started to love it. And then I got married and had kids, and it really rocked my world. And that's when I realized, okay, how are people doing this? Like, I see other moms pursuing their goals and their dreams. Like, what are they doing? So that kind of spearheaded me getting back into speaking. Is I really wanted to go after the goal setting process. That's one of my keynotes. I have a goal setting keynote that I take around to women's groups and youth groups to help them achieve their goals. But I recently started interviewing women. Like, what's the goal setting process? What does it look like? And I just finished interviewing over 100 women entrepreneurs.
Wow.
I saw that actually. That was awesome.
And
So rewarding.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was so much work. Like, even just setting up the interviews and scheduling with people and sending them the questions ahead of time and following up with them and then making social media posts about it. It's been a big project. But one thing came up over and over and over again that I think was really shocking, and I wasn't expecting it. Because I asked a lot of the same questions over and over again to see if patterns would emerge, and one pattern did emerge that had me turning off my Zoom camera and having tears well up in my eyes because of the answer I received to one question. And when I'd asked these women, what's a challenge you had to overcome to reach your goals, I was expecting them to tell me like about the first time they ever launched a product and they sold one thing and it was like their mom who bought it, you know? That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But instead they told me over and over again that their biggest challenge was self-doubt. And I had a woman who owns multiple stores and rentals and hotels, and she said, my biggest challenge is myself. And she said, I have so many insecurities. A children's book illustrator told me that her biggest challenge was the negative head trash. I just talked to a woman, and her company was number 123 on the Inc. 5000, and she was talking about imposter syndrome. Like, it was...
She has that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't feel like she should be there.
Well, when she was starting and getting going, that was something she struggled with.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was necessarily her problem at the time, now, but getting going and the goal setting process, that was something she struggled with.
Right.
And so I was like, how am I hearing this again and again? Because I would look at them and think, wow, these women are so amazing, they're so incredible, and then they're all telling me they're struggling with this same thing. And that was like a really big hurdle for them. Like, I just talked to a woman this week who had like an incredible podcast. She's like in the top 5% in the world with podcasts. And she said, my biggest challenge was just fear. Just trying to overcome these things. And so my brand new keynote that I've written recently is overcoming fear and anxiety to achieve your goals. Because that was the biggest pattern that came up again and again and again.
I think it's human nature, right?
Yeah.
And maybe us as women too, like being in the workplace or the workforce or owning a company, maybe that even looks less than. So I do believe that fear-based anxiety to, can I do this? Will I succeed? Will I fail? What that looks like.
Yeah.
Work-life balance, wanting to be like 100% at everything. And it really does probably take it does take a village. I mean, you have to have a supportive family. You have to have a supportive husband. You have to have support for all of those things, right?
But if you never do try and take the step, you never know what you're going to miss.
Right.
Absolutely.
So how How are you engaging that in the future? What does that look like, that information?
So I'm putting it into a book that I'm currently working on right now. And then I just finished my brand new keynote. I'm presenting it to a group in November. And I'm really excited about that. It's a leadership group for women, and her team was stepping into a new role, but they're having a lot of fear about stepping into this new role. And I said, I'd love to come and speak to your group and just go through this new keynote that I have to help them overcome those fears so they can step into these new leadership roles.
Oh, wow.
It's
so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
And did you start your book before this interview process?
No, I didn't. I wanted to get the interviews done and see what patterns came up.
And then you chose the topic of your book, or you decided to even write a book after that?
So I always knew that I wanted to write a book based on what came up with these interviews. And I'm still going to continue to interview women. This isn't the end for me. I wanted to reach 100, but I'm still going to continue to interview women. And I think my questions will evolve too, just in the process of, what's coming up? What gets in the way of accomplishing your goals? And so now I'm going to take all of that information that I have and put it in a book. And as I continue to get more information, I'll just probably update the book as I go
So
on.
Ashlee, I want to ask you that question. What's gotten in your way to accomplish your goals?
Oh my goodness. So many things for me. I feel like one of the biggest things is just, and I hope this doesn't come across in a wrong way, but a lot of times for me, it's my family life. It's really hard for me to be able to achieve my goals and still be the mom that I want to be.
Right.
So one thing that I loved, I interviewed Al Caraway, and she's an award-winning speaker and author.
Yeah.
And we had the same idea of what it takes to accomplish your goals. And she said, for me, it's a supportive spouse. And she said, I could not do what I do without my spouse, because he helps me, supports me so much. And I asked her, I said, but what if someone doesn't have a supportive spouse? Because there's going to be people listening that don't.
Yeah, they're either single or not supported.
Yes, yes. And she said, well, then do you have enough self-love for yourself to sit down and have that hard conversation with your spouse to say, hey, I love myself enough that I want to show up this way in the world. And my goals mean enough to me, can you help me and support me in this? And I really like that. She said it all comes back to do you love yourself enough to say, hey, I have something I want to do to help other people, a message I want to share.
I love how you also said that she said, this is the way I want to show up in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I really love that.
I love that
I love
so
listening
much. Well, right? Because I think a lot of times too, women make themselves the last priority.
Yep.
Instead of maybe there isn't enough self-love, or I need to do this for myself in order to show up for everyone else.
Yeah. And I feel like I show up as a better mom, a better spouse, a better friend.
100%.
Yes, when I'm doing the things that I love.
When you do, yes, for yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
I think you're more mentally in the game with your kids. You can have challenging conversations and talk about hard things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're so aware of the world around you.
Yeah, and I think it opens doors for your kids to say, hey, I have something that I want to do. That woman I talked about that's on the Inc. 5000 list, she said her son is starting a business as a teenager, and he's not dealing with all the fear and stuff that she had to deal with, the imposter syndrome, because he's like, I seen my mom do it. I know I can do this, and he's just going for it. So he doesn't have all those mental blocks that are stopping him.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I love this. This is that positive energy.
Yeah,
You are so awesome.
Well, I wanted to leave you guys with a little challenge, if that's okay.
Yes.
What is it?
So I have this summit necklace that I've created. It goes along with it goes along with one of my keynotes. So it says accomplishing a goal is like climbing a mountain. And we invite you to wear this necklace as a daily reminder to climb your mountain and accomplish your goals. And there's a few more things on there that you can read about. But one of the biggest things that I found is 3% of adults have written goals. And so you're 42% more likely to achieve your goals if they're written down. So there's a place for you to write your goal and a target date on there. And so, but climbing a mountain, a lot of times you'll have to stop if you get tired and pause and look at the view. I think that's what achieving a goal is like. Sometimes we have to pause, we have to get help along the way. So I chose the mountain as my symbol for that. So I have one for each one of you.
Aw.
And I want to ask you to write your goal on there.
I'm so proud of her. Thank you.
Happy birthday too. It says I want to invite you to write your goal on there.
Thank you.
And if you'll share it, I would love that. If you'll share it with me or even on the show, maybe you can share what your goal is.
Share this with everyone.
I think that's okay. And the other thing I wanted to say too, if the date comes and goes of accomplishing your goals, let's say it shows up and you didn't accomplish your goal, Then what did you
call
learn
you.
along the way?
We need to give her a tissue.
Do you want to
Oh, this is, no, I'm good. I'm good.
This is like Mama
No.
Bear.
I know, no.
This mountain right here just reminds me of like, this is a mountain in our backyard. Like to the east of us,
Yeah.
it's this big mountain that just surrounds us. And I think the Wasatch Mountains just always make me feel like we're getting hugged. Like
Yes.
God's arms
Right.
are just around us and loving
to
us
look
through
up.
our
I love
challenges.
that.
And so thanks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ashley. You're
Ashley,
an
we
amazing
love you.
example, and you're coming back again in this coming year. I promise that.